It was, I was like physically on the edge of my couch for the entire thing. Like, I mean, we talked about it the other week. Like, there's no time when it's safe. Like, you never, like, you got to be up like 3-0, and then it's sort of comfortable. But man, dude, it was wild.
What's more wild is you tweeted earlier about how many Miami sports teams have won championships while the
We,
Dolphins have not.
I know, I know. They're the only team. That's the only team down that I've not seen. I mean, of course, the Dolphins won in the
Yeah.
'70s and stuff, but like it's the only one. And that's what's crazy is like of all the fan bases like that get shit down there, like the Dolphins is the one that's established. They are the ones that have been around. Like the Panthers have only been pro hockey 30 years.
Yeah.
Like that's why all these Canadian teams are all up in arms because they were winning titles when there was 6 teams in the league, like the Celtics and Lakers. Like so, the fact that you got the Marlins relatively new franchise, Heat relatively new franchise, Panthers relatively new franchise, and the Dolphins have been around forever, and yet it's the 3 new ones that are winning. I mean, I shouldn't say are winning because the Marlins are bad, but they've won twice. Anyway,
Yeah. I guess all my teams are going to be Las Vegas now.
all of them, huh? Well, you
Well, I
got
guess
the
the
Aces.
Warriors. The
You got
Warriors
the
are still in the
Las
Bay
Vegas
Area.
Aces are back-to-back champs in the WNBA. I know you're a big WNBA guy, so
Huge WNBA guy. What's up, Morgan? Morgan's in the live chat over on YouTube. Stuart Wright. Chris G is in there. He says, should it be group of 6 now?
why? Because the Pac-2 or what?
I don't know. Not yet. They need to be. I was looking over the schedule today. They're basically planning a Mountain West schedule.
They are. Well, they did.
It's like just hop on over, pal.
They agreed to that little thing. Um,
I don't know. I mean, we're not far off, ladies and gentlemen. We're about
9 weeks.
something like that. We're about a month out from camp. A little over a month and a week. What 4 or 5 weeks probably.
I mean, I'm getting all the Atlanta Falcons preseason football commercials are on already.
It's wild.
So,
It's
yeah,
wild
man,
stuff.
comes so quick, and now, especially now that everything else is done, now you got to deal with regular season professional baseball until the time comes.
See, Chris says, how would they be eligible for the playoffs? They are not considered conference games with the Mountain West. Yeah, I know they're not in the Mountain West.
Yeah, I don't know how, but I mean, how would that work? If I mean, they just would have to be an at large. Like
At large.
Yeah, it'd have
Notre
to be.
Dame gets in every time.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm so sick of Notre Dame just getting
A pass.
on everything. On everything, based off of their history of being so good back in the frickin' what would that be, the 60s and 70s?
You talking about when Rudy was
Yeah.
playing?
By the way, completely false story.
Yeah, 100% false.
Joe Montana debunked that whole thing, but anyways.
Well, if he was true, like, okay, dude, here I'm a walk on guy, okay, right? So let me preface it by that. But if he was really like that in real life, I bet they hated him. Like,
Probably great movie. Love the movie.
yeah, we need to have a discussion about that. Let's get the show going, and then we'll have a quick football movie discussion. But you just tell me when to go, Jeff. And
Yeah,
I'm ready to get this show cranked up.
Need to tie it into
Been a
that
great
toughest
mood.
places to play, because they were on that list, and I don't think South Bend's that difficult. But anyways,
Good evening and welcome into the #1 Group of 5 football podcast of all time. This is the Group of 5 guys. We are the Group of 5 guys. If you're new here, if it's your first time checking us out, Our mission is to be the voice for the Group of Five football programs, the voice that the mainstream sports media just absolutely will not be. We need your help to do that. We need you to follow us on all the social platforms at Group of Five Guys. Go to YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your best podcasts. Subscribe to the channel. Give us a 5-star rating and a review. Most important thing you can do is tell your family and friends all about us. On this show, we discuss a little bit the new hot topic in college football, tough places to play. We'll talk a little bit about that. And then we're going to go week to week. We're going to talk about the best games. If you're a guy that's wanting to travel, guy or girl that's wanting to travel, check out some great Group of Five football. We're going to give you a couple for each week that right now look like they're going to be pretty damn good. Hope you enjoy the show. Have you had it from somebody born and raised in Lafayette, Louisiana, at a tailgate? Doubt it.
I said Michael Pratt has got to show up and play, and boy did he. 394 yards, 4 touchdowns, 48 rushing yards on the ground, and another touchdown.
Projected getting drafted between the first and third round, like that's incredible.
That's
The wide receivers are absolutely stacked for the Group of Five.
Yeah, I really appreciate you do for the Group of Five programs, and I think it's great. I think we should get more of this. But you guys are on the forefront of this, and
so I'm thankful for this. I'm glad that you're talking about the Group of Five because I think they get overlooked.
But it's a ton of fun to watch a guy go to the NFL from a Nevada or a Colorado State or a Middle Tennessee or an App State, and fans follow that kid.
Jeff, what's that hat you got tonight?
It's just a hat I ordered for the beach. We're going to the beach on Saturday, going to the Emerald Coast again. So maybe catch up with some people down there. But it's like a water hat.
Nice.
So I have a black one, and I was like, you know what? I need something other than black, so it makes my head real hot.
Well, not to make light out of some difficult situations, but hopefully with some of these shark attacks and riptides, those beaches get a little less crowded this time of year. It might scare some people off, but I mean, riptides are. That's something I'd be more worried about. The shark, that's like fluky. You know what I mean? But a riptide, dude, you get caught in that. I mean, if you're not a decent swimmer or I don't know. I've never been in one. I've never gone out really past the waist. But
I've been in one once. My father-in-law a couple years ago. This is probably closer to like 8 or 9 years ago now. But was out there and I saw him like kind of way out there. I was like, what's going on? I'm gonna go over and swim, see what's going on. And he got caught in it, and like he couldn't. He's an older gentleman, like couldn't get back in. So I swim over there and I get him underneath the arm. I'm kicking like as hard as I possibly can, and we're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
So luckily one of our family members on the beach like got one of the lifeguards, and they came out there, and those guys are trained professionals, and were able to I could get in myself.
Yeah.
But not carrying a grown man. But I'm not that good of a swimmer.
Well, what do they say? You're supposed to just swim lateral.
With it
until you get out of it. But
yeah.
You can, if you look from if you're in a condo and you're up, relatively high on a balcony, you can see it almost. Like you can see where the waves are coming in sort of different directions.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wouldn't want no part of that. But anyway, hopefully that makes it a little less crowded for a little bit down there. But the Emerald Coast ain't none better than the Emerald Coast.
It's gonna be awesome.
Ain't a better beach in the country. That's for sure. And I'll tell you this. You guys know we got married down there in Fort Walton Beach, and we spent the week before our wedding there, and then we went to freaking Sandals, Barbados for the week after. I'd much rather be in Florida, dude.
No question.
Much rather be. I mean, it was cool, but dude, for the price and for all the headaches of getting there and all that stuff, I'd much rather just stay in the Emerald Coast. But anyway, anybody gonna ask me about my hat?
What do you got on there?
Oh man, listen, Game 7 last night. I honest to God, I've never seen a more intense. Like I guess Ben had a rooting interest in such an intense game before. Like, and that goes to like, I mean, dude, I'm talking more so than like Game 7 Heat Spurs 10 years ago. More so, I mean, dude, from the freaking puck drop. I mean, and then Panthers go up 1-0. Oilers come right back and score, and then Panthers go up 2-1. And then there was a sequence in the third period with like, I don't know, there was like 7 or 8 minutes left when goalie falls down, loses his stick, and they're just smashing at him. And like, dude, like both teams, players were just diving on the floor, like sliding all around on the ice, just trying to do anything they can. And I mean, and that happened, and then it happened again with like 3 minutes left. I mean, dude, I'm pretty locked in on hockey right now. I gotta say. I mean,
Well,
and plus
got a whole
the
year now.
Panthers. Well, the Panthers. I mean, since every year that I've been a fan, they've won the Stanley Cup now. So I mean, you know,
Isn't that
it's
something?
a pretty good. I got a pretty good record now, you know. But no, dude, I've been enjoying it. I've had people reaching out like, "Dude, you got to get on this hockey stuff." Like, and I'm glad I did. And I've been like, dude, when I lived up there, I went to a couple Preds games, and it's fun.
Yeah, they're fun. They're fun to go.
Yeah, it's definitely, especially if you can get up close, like on the glass or anything like that. But the problem is, like right now, I just don't know all the rules, and there's stuff happening, and sometimes the crowd will start cheering, and I'm like, what are they cheering about? Like, there's nothing happened there. And then there's other times, you know, when they're booing, they want to call.
I'll tell you why they're cheering up in Edmonton.
Why is that, Jeff?
That nice old lady in the crowd.
Yeah, dude. So have y'all seen any? So it's so funny because obviously it's hockey, but did you see the videos of the Panthers players like 8 a.m. There's a bar on Fort Lauderdale Beach called the Elbow Room. It's like a vintage, like classic bar. It was like the old spring break hangout from whenever Fort Lauderdale Beach was like the spot. But so all the Panthers players took a golf cart to the beach, like probably partied all night, then took a golf cart. So they're at the Elbow Room, which is a hole in the wall with the Stanley Cup, like pouring drinks over the balcony at people, and then they dove in the ocean with it. That thing's got to be pretty durable. But I was sitting there thinking, I hope they get caught in a riptide with the Stanley Cup, or we're gonna be out. But no, man. I mean, it was good stuff. But anyway, we started talking before we started the show about the movies, about Rudy and stuff like that. And there's a lot of really good football movies, but I cannot think of one football movie where the football scenes are actually good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I guess that's what happens when you get a bunch of actors trying to do football, but
They try and dramatize.
You're
it.
saying that trick play on Remember the Titans not realistic?
Remember the Titans is the worst one, dude. It's the worst one. Fake 26 blast with a backside George reverse, and the backup QB like not only blocks 3 people, like lays them all out, and they go like 70 yards on a freaking reverse with the starting quarterback in a cast, and then the other quarterback running the ball, and then I always thought it was funny when Bertier, he's like, he tells the coach, he's like, I'm the only All-American you got on this team. And I'm like, yeah, bro, it's a high school, dude. How many All-Americans? I didn't have any on my high school team. It's like, how many are you expecting to have in your high school in Virginia? But anyway, I'm trying to think. I don't know if there's a good one. Is there a good one?
Not really. I mean, I'm a fan of Any Given Sunday is a great one. But, I mean, as far as the football plays, I don't really know of any of them. I mean, The Replacements has always been one of my favorites.
That's a good flick.
But
I can't remember the details of Friday Night Lights. I feel like that might have been kind of. I don't remember the details. Yeah, Booby Miles.
That was another false story, huh?
There's a bunch of them out there.
First of all, they got smoked by that Dallas Carter school in real life, and apparently, Booby Miles,
he's real though.
Not most outstanding citizen. Yeah. But
well, real quick before we get into the EA Sports toughest places to play, I want to shout out the live chat on YouTube. Got a lot of good stuff going on in there. Joe Judkins, speaking of the Emerald Coast, is in there. Connor Fury is in there. He said he almost died in a riptide. One of the scariest times of his life. 512 Scott B, our boy Stu's Right, is in there. Morgan's in there. And that's about it. I don't think I'm missing anybody. But yeah, if you're on Twitter or on Facebook watching, hop over to YouTube. It's a great live chat that just goes back and forth as the show goes on. And if you got any good points or good questions, we'll shout them out live on the show. So appreciate you guys in that live chat.
There ain't no doubt about it. Well, let's talk about this. EA Sports put out their top 10, or I guess they put out their top 25 toughest places to play. For what it's worth, the only Group of 5 team they put in there was Boise State, I believe, at 24 on the blue turf there. But here's the thing, man. I'm seeing people argue about it. Like, I think to me, toughest place to play, you can't just go by record at home, because if you look at it for years, Alabama had the best home record in the country, but they were also just really good. They were just beating everybody everywhere on the road at home. So you can't. So to me, it's, does the home field, does it win you games that you're not supposed to win? Does it keep you in games that you're not supposed to be in? Does it, like, a good metric is it causing the other team to false start? Is it causing delay a game? Is it causing timeouts? Is it causing turnovers? Things like that you can't just look at home record. But anyway, that's just my thoughts. What did you have? You had a good tweet on it earlier, Jeff.
Yeah, well, my point was, I mean, just picked a couple of the teams that I thought really are just in there based off of their history, being Notre Dame, Michigan State, and Mississippi State. And we played at Mississippi State when we were at middle. And, like,
Yeah,
I didn't think that atmosphere, like, the cowbells were annoying, but I didn't think that atmosphere was going to win them. Like, it wasn't a factor in the game. Yeah, we got beat, but that's not why.
Yeah.
And I just think, I mean, even like Virginia Tech doesn't crank like it used to, and they haven't been good, and they're 17. So you got Mississippi State at 25. I felt like they just threw them in there because of the cowbells. Michigan State at 22, Notre Dame at 21, Arkansas. And I know, like, I haven't been to Arkansas. I've heard it's a really good environment, but, like, what's the criteria here? Because if you are going off of home wins and records, like, Arkansas shouldn't be in there. Like, they haven't
Where'd they have Auburn? Because I know that
I thought they were 14.
So now I'll say this. See, like, Auburn's one.
Didn't bother New Mexico State last year.
Jeez.
Well, and then to my tweet real quick, I said the fact that Fresno State and App State, like, aren't in there and those other 3 teams were, just shows the bias against the Group of 5, because Fresno State that place is sold out every home game, and it is a loud ass environment. And same with App, and we've been there a couple times. Like, those are not easy places to play, and both teams play very well at home.
And both teams probably more so App than Fresno in this regard. I mean, they end up winning or being in games that they're probably overmatched in, right, from a physical standpoint or from a quote-unquote talent standpoint. And that's because of their crowd. And honestly, it happens for them sometimes on the road because their fans travel so good. But it's just yeah, I really keep going back to Michigan State. I mean, that don't belong in there at all to me. Notre Dame, when I think of hostile, that's what I think, hostile. Like, what's a place that you're going to go into and, like, you're in the locker room and you hear it and you just can't quit thinking about it. And I think, and look, I'll give the Power 5 credit. I think places like LSU are like that. Penn State is like that.
Yeah.
Michigan, just because of its sheer size and the amount of people that are in there.
Yeah, but they're 16, Sprouse.
Yeah, see, that's wild to me. Where'd they have our friends over at Tennessee?
13.
See, I feel like just because of the sheer number of people that are in the stadium makes it tough. And then they had They had Bama at 2.
2. Which A&M's number 1.
See, I don't think Bama. Yeah. I mean, I would put LSU I would put LSU over both of them easily, and I think almost anybody would.
Yeah.
I think if you ask people that played for Alabama or A&M, they would tell you LSU is tough. But I don't know. I just don't. I don't know. Some of those just seem like they might have a lot of people and they might be kind of loud, but they seem a little bit too nice and respectful to be a very difficult place to play. But maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. But what we really need is for some of these Group of 5 fan bases to jump on board here and prove why they belong. Because listen, as much as we don't like the disrespect, like Boise shows out, they've been showing out. Which, by the way, I have to talk about this. Boise State. I go back to it might have been like a year or two ago now, but one of those idiots from Barstool was talking about how Boise was a fraud, like when Boise had the Fiesta Bowl win. I remember that specifically, and I remember I came on here and I addressed it, and I saw some stuff on Twitter over the weekend that brought it back up about Boise and about the Group of 5 as a whole, not quote unquote playing anybody, right? And then so I went back to see Boise and what they did, not only the Fiesta Bowl year, but then after that. And Boise, for 4 years in a row, beat Oregon twice, went to Oregon once, went to Atlanta and beat Georgia, went to Washington, D.C. and beat Virginia Tech. And by the way, that was when Virginia Tech was good. And they went to Atlanta and beat Georgia. Now, Georgia wasn't the Georgia of today, but they were still a top 15, top 10 team every year. And Boise did that for 4 straight years. Went basically on the road. Now, they called it a neutral site, but let's be real. You're coming from Boise, Idaho to Atlanta, Georgia to play the University of Georgia Bulldogs an hour and a half from their campus. That's a home game. And they beat them. They go to D.C. and they beat Virginia Tech. And what's even funnier is I remember even before I really was all in on this Group of 5 business, I remember all the talking heads talking about Boise having no shot in those games because they were outmatched. There was so much more talent on Virginia Tech's roster, this and that, and Boise shut them up every time. And now you just wonder, you wonder why. Like, now Boise's got Oregon again this year. It's a tough Oregon team this year, but it's like you wonder why. Of course, most of the time they're not playing anybody because y'all won't play them. Yeah. I mean, and you even had some of the coaches like the idiot at NC State talking about it's a lose-lose because whatever he said, which I don't really understand where NC State's getting off at something like that because they'll lose to a lot of Group of 5 teams. But anyway, that's
funny. Real quick in the chat. Stu, he says, I think it was Brandon Walker that said that about Boise. Said he's a middle-aged
Of course
hack.
it was.
Agree with that. And then Scott B says, the Roadrunners are 23-3 in the Dome since 2020. And I can say, that is a tough place to play.
Place is tough. Place is loud. It's intense.
Great environment.
You know what else? You know what else fits into that is, to me, the tailgate and the way that it's set up is a big factor because I think when the visiting team shows up on the bus and they see the tailgate, they see the smoke from the grills, they see all the tents, that's part of it. That's part of the environment. And they get off the bus and they got to walk down a tunnel or something. Students are screaming at them. That's part of having a tough place to play. Just, any of that kind of, emotion, any of that gimmicky stuff that can get in somebody's head is all part of it. And you're damn right. UTSA's got that too. So that's how you want Memphis. Memphis is a tough one.
Yeah.
They need to they better get after it this year because they got a squad this year. But
that damn Liberty Bowl is just so big. It's just, I don't know what it holds. I'd have to look it up, but like to really fill that place out, this would be the year though. They're gonna be good. They're gonna be one of the top teams in the American.
And that stadium's so spread out, right? So it's just hard to. Yeah. It's just not as loud on the field as some of those other stadiums that are kind of closer to the field.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That bitch is packed out though. It's gonna be loud.
Oh, for sure.
But I agree.
And we know the city of Memphis is an intimidating one to get into. So. They got a great police escort, though. You remember that? When we used to go there? They got a great escort. Every cop in Memphis is escorting the buses. Probably the same ones that are patting you down to get onto Beale Street on a Friday night. Anyways, y'all got anything else on the stadiums, or are we going to hit this week-to-week thing real fast?
No, that's it.
So here's the deal. I don't know how you guys approach this thing, but I pretty much got a couple of games each week we can hit. I feel like we're going to have a lot of the same ones, but then there's some underrated games that I took note of. But we'll go real quick. Week 0, there's not a lot, but I'm going to tell you, boy, Montana State at New Mexico. Look out, New Mexico. Just look out. just look out, man. I mean, Montana State's one. I would welcome them with open arms to the MAC or to the Mountain West. But other than that, what do you got? SMU at Nevada, I think, is the other Group of 5 game.
Yeah, and if there's ever a game I want Nevada to win, it's that one. And I know it's going to be tough. I mean, SMU's, got a lot of talent, and Nevada's been kind of reeling the last couple of seasons, but got to go to Reno. Never know.
And playing Preston Stone is a Heisman contender now that they have an ACC patch on their chest. Isn't that
funny?
Weird. They raised $159 million to make up for the 9 years of $0 TV revenue they're getting. Let me hold a buck, man. You know what I mean?
All right.
Unbelievable. Week 1. What do you guys got?
I think the big one and the obvious one that we probably all three have is Boise State going down to Georgia Southern.
Yeah. Well, and Boise State, I think, is a lot better than Georgia Southern. That being said, it's going to be really hot. That's a long way to go. And that, although small, is a tough stadium to play in. So that's a nice week 1, really challenging game for Boise State. But I also had a game we went to last year, Coastal at Jacksonville State.
That's gonna be going.
It's gonna be a very good one. We're gonna see we're gonna see what Coastal can do without a Grayson McCall and a lot of changes happening, and we're gonna see if Jacksonville State can keep that thing rolling there.
Yeah, and that's on a Thursday night. That's that Thursday night, and I'll tell you what, there is a lot of Group of 5 on Power 5 matchups that I feel really good about.
Give me one.
I'm gonna UNLV at Houston. I think UNLV is one of the top teams in the Mountain West. We've talked about it a little bit the last couple of weeks. That's a very winnable game. I think tough sledding, but after Michigan losing so much, I'm not going to count Jeff Tedford and the Bulldogs out going up to Ann Arbor. I know that's a tough place to play. I mean, they're going to be big. They're going to be physical. But Mikey Keene, he's athletic. He can run around. Tedford's going to have that offense dialed in. Here's one that I think is a sleeper, and I'm interested to see how they open up. Scotty Walden and the Miners go to Nebraska.
Yep.
And then the last one is Wyoming at Arizona State.
Yep.
Wyoming's got a new coach, but they're always a tough team. So I think 4 of those. I mean, the 2 probably with the highest percentage would be UNLV and Wyoming, but I like all 4 of those games.
I got another one for you that
What
you did not mention. Well, the battle for Atlanta, Georgia State, Georgia Tech.
Yeah, I saw that one.
According to Josh Pate, one of those is on the same level as the Georgia Bulldogs, and one of them's not. So we're gonna find out. I like that one. I like Georgia State. Opener with Coach McGee.
Yeah, that'd be a great one for them.
What if FAU goes up to Michigan State and quiets that loud, rambunctious crowd full of stadium that they have up there? Oh man.
Well, here's what we know. We know that something's gonna, like, 1 or 2 of those is gonna happen. We know that it happens every week. It happens. So these people that get on here and say, "Oh, you're picking out a couple of upsets over the course." No, dude, it's like every weekend it's happening. So I don't. But yeah, Ohio at Syracuse is another one I kind of marked down here.
Yeah, so there's a lot of good matchups.
So many. And funny enough, I tried to stay away from the Group of 5, Power 5 matchups just because I knew everyone I looked at. I was like, oh yeah, we win that. We win that one. Let's go to week 2. Week 2 is a massive weekend in college football, and I think we all are going to have the obvious one, and I don't know, we may or may not have kind of put on the chalkboard a little bit, pencil this in to maybe make some travel plans too. But UTSA going to San Marcos, Texas State. I mean, that game is going to be insanity. 3:30 p.m. kickoff, I think. Plenty of time to get in the river in the morning.
Gonna be hot, boy.
Gonna be real hot. That river's gonna be nice afterward. People are gonna be leaving that game early to go jump in the river. But and that's the week Boise State goes to Oregon. That's a big test, and I don't think Boise's got to beat them, but I don't think they can get blown. They can't go in there and look like Liberty. They can't do that. But I bet you deep down Liberty's rooting for that to happen. They'll love it. They'll love it if Boise State gets smoked by Oregon. But
it sort of helps their case a little bit.
Yeah, it helps the narrative that everybody's, because nobody's going to say that to Boise State because they've been there, done that. So, what else did you guys have? I mean, there's
Kansas State going to Tulane, and then you got App State going to Clemson.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I had all those. I have Troy at Memphis.
That's
going to be a good one. We're going to big test for Parker and the new Troy Trojans. I had Army at FAU because we talked about this a couple weeks ago. If Army can take down FAU on the road, their schedule sets up nice where they could possibly be 4-1, 5-0 after that stretch. And then Marshall at Virginia Tech. That's another good one. I know it's a group of 5 versus Power 5, but I want to touch on that real quick, that San Antonio Texas State matchup. To me, that's the marquee group of 5 matchup in that entire
100%.
week.
100% it is.
And it's a huge game. I think the pressure's on both sides for sure, but it's going to be a big program test for Jeff Traylor. Losing so much last year, all the upperclassmen that they had, guys that really have built that program over the last 3 or 4 years are now gone. So how do you replace them? It's in-state. It's a huge rivalry. And then on the other side, had a great year, last year by Kenny, but you got a new quarterback. I know he was the Sun Belt Player of the Year, but a lot of new pieces there too. So it's, I think Texas State is probably going to be favored to win that game, but it's going to be hard to bet against Traylor. He's just a great coach, so it's going to be a hell of a matchup.
Yeah, and that's one too for both sides. Even though it's not a conference game, it's going to tell you a lot. Is Texas State going to be able to compete with the Troys, with the Louisianas in the West this year? And is UTSA going to be able to compete with the Memphis, the Tulanes? And you don't have to win that game. You can still win the conference, but you do got to come out and show something. And that's going to be a really good early test for both teams. Interested to see how many people make the trek from San Antonio over to San Marcos.
Well, it ain't but
like hour and a half, isn't it? No,
I think it's like 45 minutes.
Yeah, 45 minutes. You're right. Because San Marcos is in between Austin and San Antonio. That's right.
So hell, it should be sold out. That game, there's no reason for that game to be sold out.
That's gonna be electric. Week 3, okay. We got a chance. So we're gonna get a big test. So Tulane's got that test versus Kansas State week 2, but then they go to Norman, Oklahoma, week 3. And again, I don't think I think if you're Tulane, you got to win one of those if you want to make a playoff run. Even if you win the conference, I don't think you can lose 2 games, not to Kansas State and Oklahoma. So I think you got to win one of those, but we're gonna find out. And then, man, Memphis going to Tallahassee, Florida State. Memphis has, like, I think you were talking about it last week, Jeff. Memphis has so much hype right now.
Worries me.
That it's a real quick. They could let us down real quick on that. But I mean, I had an early Conference USA matchup on here that I think is sneaky, and that's UTEP going to Lynchburg.
I was thinking of a different one.
What do you?
Week 3, 100 miles of hate.
Oh yeah.
Coming to Murfreesboro, guys. Come on.
That's early for that game, isn't it?
It is. So early.
A little later in the season. I'm glad though. I'm glad because I think you'll have a good showing from the crowd in that game. It's still early enough. Middle's got an FCS game week 1, and then they're at Ole Miss, right? Week 2. Yeah. So there's not going to be expectations. The expectation will be 1-1, and they'll be probably 1-1 in that game. And I think Western plays Bama in week 1. So they'll both still have their season hopes alive at that point, which the last few years, Middle's been pretty much out of it by the time they get to that game. So that's an interesting one. I'm going to tell you the game of the week. Jeff probably has it. Coach Prime and the Fighting Sanders.
Yeah.
Going to Fort Collins. Listen, Colorado. What did Colorado get up to? Like number 8 in the country after they started 3 or 4-0. They took 3 overtimes. That game ended at 2:00 in the morning, Eastern time or Central time. I think. Where were we at? Troy.
We were at Troy.
We were in Troy watching that game. It was like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. So I I don't know. I can't read what the hell's happening in Boulder right now with Colorado, but it seems like it's a disaster. It seems like it, but
yeah, and you
don't know.
Prime reportedly making his players go to Shador's rap show or something. I don't know. Just all of it seems weird. You got players jumping ship. I know they picked up a couple players, but that's gonna be another electric environment, I think, and that's in Fort Collins, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think they're gonna show out. I mean, it's a rivalry. They both hate each other, so it should be a great place to watch that game. I had a couple here. UNLV is at Kansas, which is going to be another big test for the Rebels. Cincinnati at Miami of Ohio. I think we're going to find out how good Miami is in that week. They don't have to necessarily win that game. I think it's very winnable, but all the returners they had on defense, they need to show up, and we're going to see what they have on the offensive side of the ball. Hopefully Gabbert's going to be ready to go.
I think they may be favored in that game. I mean, they beat them last year, and Cincinnati lost a ton after they made their little, their couple years runs there. So, and yeah, you're right. I mean, Miami's got everything coming back. So you'd like to think.
And then just real quick, another one's I'm not going to get into them. Just want to note them. UAB at Arkansas. I think UAB is going to be much better. Hell of a game. App State at East Carolina. That environment's going to be cracking. And then I think this is a winnable game as well. Toledo at Mississippi State. I hope the Rockets go down there and kick their ass. I really do. Because number 25th on toughest places to play. Nah, not buying it.
Them cowbells are so stupid.
That's stupid.
They really are. I mean, just use why you got to use an instrument? I mean,
because it's not loud enough to begin with, Sprouse.
Okay, they got to use. That's right. It reminds me in high school we used to go down to like South Miami and play these high schools that were not even real. They were like Bishop Sycamores, but for baseball. Just all these kids like coming from the Dominican Republic and stuff, and they were playing instruments and stuff in the crowd. Like, what the hell is this? Like, what is this? Talk about Bush League. You know what I mean? Yeah. Anyway, Week 4 is kind of a. I thought it was a little bit of a down week. I got 2 games. One, I think. Well, they're both pretty sneaky. I got Tulane at Louisiana. A lot of people are high on Louisiana right now. I'm not sold just yet. We'll have to get Terry Johnson hadn't called in a long time. We'll have to get his take on this.
You got one. He's
the voicemail.
He's the voicemail.
Oh, son of a gun. There you go. Does he talk about that game at all?
No, he doesn't.
He'll get me sold. And then the other one I had, everybody's forgetting about South Alabama, man. And they go to App State, and that's a massive Sun Belt game. Do you guys have anything else?
That's the one that I had highlighted. I think that's going to be a big test for both those teams in the Sun Belt. We're going to see what South Alabama's made of. If Gio Lopez is the guy, and then you're going to have Lopez versus our boy Aguilar. That's going to be a hell of a game in Boone. Another couple notes I had: JMU at North Carolina. The JMU fan base still believes that they are top of the Sun Belt Conference, so we're going to find out pretty quick. And then your South Florida Bulls, Sprouse, taking on the Hurricanes.
I was texting Stu last week about South Florida and about Miami and stuff like that, and that's one, but we got to talk about South Florida too. Did y'all see what they did? Okay, this is another quick topic, quick break. Hey, check out Prize Picks. Use our code GOFG. Go to SeatGeek. Use our code Group of 5 Guys, one word. South Florida, and all these teams where they're renting Lambos and sports cars and stuff.
Saw that.
Now I'm going to defend the South Florida Bulls a little bit because number one, they play in a stadium that has stuff all year long, concerts, events, the Bucks, the Bulls. I mean, they got all kind of stuff happening. So they have to resod every year. Okay. So this is part of the process. The grass is going to look good when it comes time to playing on it, but they should have done it maybe on campus somewhere, I think, to make that look a little cooler. But Tip, did you see that? They drove like 20 Lambos into the stadium and parked them for all these recruits, but the grass was just torn up. Like, dead grass, dirt, sand. Like it looked pretty bad. And they got crushed. Now, that being said, hey, they got a bunch of pub from Barstool and all them were tweeting about them and putting them on Instagram and stuff like that. But I saw Georgia State did rented Lambos. I saw Texas did rented Lambos. And like, I don't know. Is it all just for the kids to post an Instagram picture? I mean, is that really what we're doing? And, I don't know the going rate for a rented Lambo or 20. And I don't know, maybe it's a sponsorship type of thing that they've got going there. Maybe it's a favor they're doing. So I don't know. But I wonder, I would love to talk to a high school kid. And like that.
Does that do it for you?
That got you? Like, is that what did it for you? I mean, like, again, it's cool, right? And like, I know when, in our, like, I do remember like the coaches would always rent. They would always, see, you don't realize everything's rented until you get a little older. They'd rent the nicer car to go on their recruiting visits. They'd all be in whatever Beamers and stuff like that when they'd come to the high school, and everybody's so cool and rich and this and that. And it's like, I don't know, dude. Like, I saw some people tweeting about it. Like, brother, show me a full stadium with fans and a nice weight room, and I'm in.
Show me some Sorinex, dude. That's what I want to see. I want to see the Sorinex.
That's right. I don't want to see a Lambo on a car. I want to see the Lamborghini of weight training equipment, which is the Sorinex equipment. That's what I want to see, and I'm in. But I don't know. I mean, it's kind of cool, I guess everything now is just who can do the flashiest thing.
I'm sure it appeals to some of them. So it's like, we're just hedging our bets here. It probably might get a kid or two, or the Lambos with about $100,000 inside and just cash, just a bag. So they walk there like, oh, here's your NIL right here.
That's probably what it is. You know who it probably appeals to is like the uncle or the dad that's like got the wrong stuff at wrong interest at heart. So anyway, that's a huge game, Jeff. And I don't know, man. I mean, I'm waiting for South Florida to turn it over, but that stretch is really, really tough for the Bulls. Do you have any what?
Texas State of Mind says we don't need no stinking Lambos, just tubing on the river all day. I mean, amen.
I saw it too. I thought, you know what? I would love. That's what would appeal to me. Hey, what are we doing when we're not at football practice? This? Oh yeah, sign me up. Man. Which, by the way, did you notice they all had those cane shoes on? Same ones Middle just partnered with. You guys made fun of me. You remember this?
I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't recall.
I remember because Jeff was complaining.
I remember. I'm not wearing
his little feetsies were hurting when he was walking around all day. So I said, you need to get some cane shoes. And I showed y'all, and you both had something to say about them. And now here we are. The college football world's being taken by storm by these guys.
Look, I'll wear them. Get us a sponsorship. I'll rock them at every damn campus.
There ain't no doubt. They really are, though. I mean, they're like a Croc as far as like the comfort level and like the fact they're waterproof and all that stuff. But they're way more functional because they have a back, and you can. It feels
Crocs
like
have a back.
No, not the damn 4-wheel drive thing that you call it. Where are we at? Week 5. We got to move a little quicker here. Week 5. I mean, listen, Liberty going to Boone.
Yeah.
There's going to be that's a bucket list game. Listen, there's some other week 5 is a really good week too. But if you are just a casual fan or you want to go check out something that's outside, maybe your team's on a bye or something like that, or maybe you're a Power 5 fan, listen, you want to go see what Group of 5 football is all about, go to that game, and I promise it's going to be the best experience of your life. It's just nothing better.
It's going to be cracking.
Nothing better. And that's credit to both of those fan bases, Liberty and App. And if there's the App State people that hate the Liberty people, let them come hang out at your tailgate. I promise you'll enjoy their company. These are good people. There were good people on both sides, Jeff.
Nice. The energy there is just going to be electric, from tailgate to in-game atmosphere, honestly, to post-game at the bars afterwards. Like, that game's going to be awesome. That's the one I had highlighted. I'm also going to go Fresno State at UNLV is going to be a huge game in the Mountain West as far as, championship implications go. Washington State comes to Boise. To me, that's a very winnable game. Western Michigan at Marshall. I think I want to see what Western Michigan's about. I think they could be a team in the MAC that could be flying under the radar, and that game to me is going to tell me a lot.
Do you have any other ones, Tip?
Washington State at Boise State.
Yeah.
But I had those. I had Fresno State, UNLV, and then the obvious Liberty at App State.
See, I had Air Force at Wyoming that week. Air Force, I think they're going to have a tough year, just based on their last 2 years. I mean, they'll still be Air Force, but I think they'll be tough. And then I had South Florida at Tulane, which
that's going to be a good one.
You just don't know. You just don't know what South Florida is going to be coming off of right there. South Florida could be on top of the world, or they could have already lost 2 or 3 games because they got
could be a big one. Yeah.
Yeah. So that one really depends.
That's just one that they kind of remind me of Memphis a little bit. They're starting to get a lot of hype, and whenever a team starts to get a lot of hype, as our boy John Summerall says, it's rat poison, dude. It just goes straight into the veins, and then they end up not living up to it. But our boy Joe Judkins in the chat, he goes, App State is going to stomp a mud hole in Liberty.
We're going to see.
It's a lot of firepower coming back, man, on both sides. Yeah. On both sides, bro.
There's good people on both sides. Yeah. Tip. Week 6, massive Sun Belt West game. Texas State at Troy.
Thursday night.
I know.
I hate that.
I might do it. I
think you want to sneak down to.
Yeah. It's just tough. I mean, it's brutal to do on a weeknight. Maybe at Air Force. No idea. Could go anyway. A game that we've been to, I think we've been to twice now, but it's always fantastic, is App State at Marshall. Going to be electric. And then 2 top teams in the MAC, Miami at Toledo that week. Those are the ones I had. Do you guys have anything else there?
I didn't know.
Yeah, I have a couple. Miami of Ohio at Toledo. Did you say that one?
What just said that one?
Okay. Yeah, I was looking at my notes.
Oh, holy cow.
Tulane at UAB. I think it's going to be an interesting
you're
game.
high on UAB, huh?
I don't know. I have this feeling that you have Dilfer. I thought they looked good at times, and other times they disappeared. But you have Jacob Zeno back again. You got some returners on the outside. I just think that year 2 for Dilfer is going to be good. It's just the way. I don't know. I have some gut feeling about him. I could be way wrong. Been way wrong before.
Oh, well, I've had a gut feeling about the South Florida Bulls now for 3.5 years.
Very true.
And this is the year, Jeff. Now everybody's on it. I don't like it. I want people off the bandwagon. Week 7. This is where South Florida. I mean, this could be a top 15 game, or it could be a nothing game. Memphis at USF, and then here's one that I don't know what the date on this is. I think this is October 12th weekend. I've gotten some correspondence about going to this game potentially. I think we should all think about it. App State going down to Lafayette at Louisiana. I tell you, there's gonna be some boudin down there, jambalaya.
That'd be a good one to go to. I hadn't been as a fan. I haven't been to a Louisiana game. Now as a player, I love going down there. I've been down there twice.
Talk about a hostile place. Now if they could just get people to show up and get on the same page.
That's very true. And then a couple else I had. Arkansas State at Texas State, I think is a big West matchup there. We're going to see. Arkansas State looked better last year. They had some games that they just looked like they were back, and then other games that they didn't. So, and then I had Marshall at Georgia Southern. I think it's another big matchup in the Sun Belt.
Tip, do you have any?
Also, Coastal Carolina goes to James Madison. Could be high implications in that game as well.
Yeah, I had that one too.
Yeah, we start getting some thick conference matchups.
Yeah. Well, it starts to get where every week, especially when you look at like the Sun Belt, where it's really balanced. Every game is huge. Week 8, I put down Troy at South Alabama. I think that's another midweek game, and then I put Toledo at NIU. See if NIU can get back rocking. And Toledo, without Finn back there, they still got some good players on defense. Obviously, they lose Mitchell, but still got some good players. Y'all have anything else for week 8?
UNLV travels to Oregon State. apparently one of those teams can compete for a national title, and UNLV can't apparently. So I think that was just going to be really interesting. I really do.
What do the masses think about the Pac-2 right now?
I don't know.
Are they?
I'm still just confused on.
I will say
why they're trying to stay.
I'm seeing more and more of. It'd be unfortunate for us, but a lot of Mountain West teams joining the Pac-10 or Pac-12 or whatever it becomes.
Just because of money, I guess. TV deal.
Yeah. But I don't.
But it's not the Pac-12 anymore, though.
You had an organization that obviously failed their teams, and that's why they all left. I mean,
that's a very good point,
right? I mean, that'd be like,
lack of leadership.
Be like working for one company and going to a competitor that just completely flopped, and all their tenured employees left because it was an absolute disaster.
Yeah, because you look at it this way, like, right? In my opinion, all the teams that left were the big fan bases that would watch and tune in and were paying the bills, or paying, I guess, the revenue for the Pac-12. It's like they're gone. So just because you absorb some of the Mountain West teams, like, I don't know. I just hope the Mountain West, from a leadership standpoint, does a good job and is just constantly on their the school's athletic directors and presidents. Like, this is where we want to be. We're in a good spot. It's a great conference, especially if this entire year they kick Washington State and Oregon State's ass up and down the conference. It's like, why would we go to you guys?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Now I think it's very important that those two teams don't have a lot of success in this Mountain West schedule.
Yeah,
for any of the narratives out there. But by the way, Jeff, I feel like I need to disagree with you. You said the big fan bases from the Pac-12 left. I mean, buddy, no offense, the Cal Bears, the Stanford Cardinal, the UCLA Bruins. I mean, this ain't basketball. I mean, not a lot. I wonder, okay, because you got some legitimate fan bases in the Big Ten, and I wonder what they're going to think of, like, the USC fan base. That, sure, they get after it when USC is really good, but they ain't one. I mean, it's LA. It's just like what we were talking about last week with Nick, with the Florida fans. You know, it's like that. But so I'm interested to see. I mean, it just seems like a clash of culture altogether, which is part of what I always thought made conferences great, because it was like similar cultures.
It was semi-regional.
Regional, right? Yeah. Where we at? Week 9.
Yeah.
Boy, Boise State at UNLV, massive game. I think Troy at Arkansas State is a potential, at that point in the year, is a potential swing game for the Sun Belt West. And then the only other one I had was the one that Mr. Blair told us about, and that is Bowling Green at Toledo. First time in, what did he say, 10, 11 years that game is on a Saturday. Yeah. And by the way, it's the Saturday before Halloween. I don't imagine that Halloween will be being celebrated on that Saturday, which I know is a big issue for us. Halloween, a big deal now. But anyway, what else y'all have on that one?
The only other game that I kind of had penciled in was another MAC game, Central Michigan at Miami. I just think that Central Michigan's going to be better. I think Miami of Ohio will win that game, but I think it should be a good matchup, and it could potentially shake some things up in the MAC if the Chippewas show up to play.
I like it. Tip, do you have anything else?
No, I didn't.
Week 10, I got Air Force at Army. See if Army can keep it rolling, and they they're going to be in the American this year, so we'll see what playing in a conference does to them as far as their schedule goes. And then I got 2 games that, like we've talked about before, they both could be absolutely gigantic, or they both could be like completely unwatchable. And number one is South Florida at FAU. We'll see about either of those. And then the other one is Memphis at UTSA that I had. And either way, I think UTSA, I think that's going to be a tough road game for Memphis either way, just because the Alamo Dome, I think they'll get up for that if Memphis is as good as we think they're going to be. Now, if Memphis drops a couple of games and UTSA drops a couple of the games, don't get a bad San Antonio experience and go to that game if that's the case.
I got another one. I got a Jacksonville State going to Liberty. I don't. I've said it in past episodes here recently. I don't think Liberty goes undefeated this year. So if they don't lose at App State, this could be one that they lose potentially. It's a massive Conference USA game.
I'll tell you the one they're going to lose, boys, and it ain't Week 10. It's Week 11 where Liberty goes to Murfreesboro. The Blue Raiders are going to ride. They were close last year in Lynchburg, and the Blue Raiders are going to take down the Liberty Flames. I know my boy Chad will be in town. Hopefully I can catch that game because, it's on a Saturday. So, I'm telling you, that's my Week 11 game. Liberty at Middle Tennessee.
I had that. I mean, I had that, but Week 11 is also a little bit of lesser. But I had App State at Coastal as mine, and just because that's been a game now since we've been doing this, it's been a huge game and been a really, really good game every year we've been doing Group of 5 guys. So I had that one.
Fresno State at Air Force was another one I had.
Yeah.
This kind of go like FAU could be really good if they're competing. This in Week 11 they travel to East Carolina, and that could be a huge game. Western Kentucky at New Mexico State, that could end up being a game that has huge implications as far as if we're saying that Liberty's going to be playing in the Conference USA championship game. That could be a game to look out for who's end up playing against Liberty in that championship game.
Who gets the pleasure to go to Lynchburg
right
and play Liberty. Week 12, I got a big Sunbelt West game, South Alabama at Louisiana. And then I got a Mountain West game, Wyoming at Colorado State. I think, Wyoming was really good last year, and I think they're going to be really good again. And then Colorado State, again, man, we're on year 3 now, and it's like you think they're getting close, but they haven't been able to win a lot yet. The numbers are there, they're starting. You can tell that they're improving, but they gotta get over the hump. And if they do, that's a Week 12 game that I think the winner of that goes into the last 2 weeks and still has a chance. And I think the loser of that game's out at that point in the year. And then the other teams you're talking about is your Boise's, your UNLVs, your Fresno State. So I think that's a big one. What else did y'all have?
Again, I had UAB at Memphis. I think that's going to be that stretch from Memphis, kind of like in the mid to late of their schedule. Is just, they could come out looking really, really good, but just odds are tough just to come out every win on the winning side of all those games. So I think that's going to be a big game. And then Central Michigan at Toledo, I think is going to be a big game. It's on a Tuesday. We'll see what happens, but I think that's going to shake up.
That was the one I was going to mention. Yeah, that could be a sneaky good game right there, and it's a big MAC West game. So,
are you guys both high on Central Michigan? Seems like that's like the second or third time you've had.
I am. I am, and we'll get into it when we do our conference previews.
I just think they're due.
Yeah,
they've been there. They finished last in the West last year, but had a 5-7 overall record. I think they're close, and this could be
entire MAC.
I know they're all right.
7-5 to 5-7. You get your first place and your last place. That's.
I just think they're good. Yeah, I think their
though.
quarterback. I think their offensive line returning is going to be one of the better groups in the MAC, and then their quarterback. It's going to hinge on him, and he's a dual threat guy. He can break it 80, 90 yards. Can he improve throwing is going to be the key for me, for him.
And it happens every year, right? We see a team that is towards the bottom of their conference and no one's really talking about them preseason, and all of a sudden they're competing and in contention for the championship. Central Michigan could be one of those teams.
I like that. Let's go to Week 13 now. Season's on the line here, boys. Week 13, you're going to start seeing some of these games are going to probably be absolutely meaningless, and then others, I mean, I got a few on here. First one I got to go to because this is the first year that this game truly matters, and that's James Madison going to Boone, going to App State, and then the other one. I mean, this could be your East-West Sun Belt right here, and that's James Madison at App State, and it's Troy at Louisiana. Louisiana's got a lot of these games at home. It seems like. It just seems like it just by looking at who I have as big games, and it seems like every time I've had Louisiana, they're at home. So those are two. I had a couple more, but I'll let y'all go and see if we're all on the same page. Tip, what do you got?
Well, so we talked about Northern Illinois earlier. That could be a team that if they get back to where they have been in recent years and in contention in the MAC, them going to Miami of Ohio could have huge implications in the MAC. Another one I'll touch on real quick because I think Murph will touch on this other one. Western Kentucky going to Liberty. I mean, you could end up seeing where they play each other and then turn right back around in 2 weeks and play each other in the championship game. But just having Western Kentucky play New Mexico State in Week 11 and then having to travel to Liberty 2 weeks later, I don't know. Those are those type of games where it could just shake up the Conference USA rankings, and it's there at the end of the season. So that could end up being a huge game.
Love it.
Yeah, and
Murph, what'd you have?
No, I agree with everything Tip said. And then the other one I had was Boise at Wyoming. Anytime you're going to Laramie, that is a tough place to play. As we saw in the video we posted, Texas Tech losing that overtime thriller.
Where were we at? Where were we all at watching that game? Because we were all together, I feel like.
We were. I was in a hotel room.
What week of the year was it? Was that last season?
Yeah, that was last year.
What week was that?
I don't remember.
Sorry, I didn't mean to put you on the spot right.
No,
right
I can't remember. I'll have to look it
up, well, anyway, keep going.
That could just come down to it.
Was that the hotel where the water? We had the water issue where like
no, this was later. It was. I think it was.
This was September 2nd.
Yeah, so it had to be early.
So we were at Tulane.
New Orleans.
That was it. Yeah.
We caught the very end of it.
Yeah.
At the bar on the roof, right?
I thought we were in the hotel room. I don't remember.
I can't remember. I think we were in the hotel room. That's exactly where we were.
I don't remember.
Anyways, my point. Too many hotels, too many late night bars.
Well, I was thinking of one of the crappy ones. I've been on a streak lately, though. With the last few places we stayed have been really good.
Let me finish my point. Boise, that could shake up if Wyoming comes out, plays great at home. That could shake up the Mountain West because there's no divisions anymore. Same with the MAC. There's no divisions anymore, so it's going to be the two best teams. You lose a late one to Wyoming, could cost you.
Shake up the Mountain West, buddy. That could shake up the college football playoff.
That's very true. Very true.
That's where this is the point of the season when you're going to be seeing a Memphis and a Tulane really, really invested in what's happening in Laramie, Wyoming, and things of that nature. You're going to start seeing that because God knows they're going to do whatever they can to not put two in there. They're going to do whatever they can to put the only one at the 12 seed against the number 5 SEC runner-up in Tuscaloosa or in Baton Rouge or wherever the hell it's going to be. That's what we know is going to happen.
It's going to take a few years of consistent success for the committee to add 2 teams. You'll have to see a Tulane or a Boise State
make a run,
make a 3 to 5 year run, consistently winning 10+ games every year for them to even consider having 2 group of 5 teams in the playoff.
Yeah. What anybody else week 13?
I thought Murph was going to mention Colorado State at Fresno State.
I had that on. I had that on there. It's just going to depend,
It's one that could.
I want Colorado State to be really good, and they have Torrey Horton coming back. You got our boy BFN, Matt Mummy's the OC. Like you said, Sprouse, this is the year they need to make a run, and they need to make a jump.
Yeah.
They just have a tough-ass schedule, man.
Yeah.
They really do.
This is why it's so hard for us to, plan where we want to try to go. because you're
Especially
looking
late.
at it right now at the end of June, and you're like, that's a huge game. But it also could be like 2, 3, and 7 teams at that point. So, it all looks good on paper. It looks good from what they did last year, or what they're supposed to do this year. But week 14, on paper, you got the game of the century as of right now. But again, like what we've been talking about, it might not even be to have any American implications. I mean, you never know. But Memphis going to Tulane on Thanksgiving Day. I will say something here.
Say it.
I'm a little concerned with a Tulane crowd on Thanksgiving Day. I'm a little concerned about that. I don't know if they will show out. Now, if they're undefeated and Memphis is really good, I think they'll show. But I'm a little worried about that. And I think that's a potential little wrinkle to do that on Thanksgiving Day.
I think any college football Thanksgiving Day game is tough because a lot of your students, they go home. They get, a lot of them, they get off that week, or some of them just bounce early Monday or Tuesday and leave. So, unless it's the Cowboys that are playing, that's always that's like a tradition, right? But I don't know. I think if Tulane is where, not to spew rat poison, but if they're where we think they're gonna be, I think people will show up for that game. I think it's gonna have big.
Well, I think you'll get the locals behind you at that point. If you're that good, I think the students, you'll want the students, of course, but you're right. I mean, they're not like that whole week. It's tough for everybody. It's tough at every level at that point, because you got, and then even for, if you're the players and stuff, like, you got all kinds of distractions that week. Where are you going to be? When are you going to get off? When can you come home? When's the family going to come out and see you? Blah, 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 blah. And it's like, a lot of distractions that you got to deal with. The only other game I put on here, and I just put it on here because it's such a good rivalry, but App going to Statesboro. It's one of the best rivalries in college football.
Could come down to affecting that Sunbelt East too. But
it could.
I had on Friday Texas State at South Alabama. That could be huge in the West. And then Jacksonville State at Western Kentucky again. That could shake up Conference USA.
Well, then of course after that you got the championship games, and then you got Army Navy after that, which I'm still trying to figure how that makes sense, but it is what it is. By the way, did y'all know that there's 3 Group of 5 championship games on the Friday this year?
Yeah, I saw that.
So you got Conference USA, Mountain West, and American, I believe, on Friday, and then you're gonna have MAC and Sunbelt on Saturday, and they're all 3 at the same time, like 8 p.m. kickoffs.
Yeah, you got Mountain West. Yeah, you're right. American, Conference USA, Mountain West, and then MAC and Sunbelt. I don't know. We'll have to cross that bridge when we come.
I don't like it.
Yeah, I don't like it either.
It's gotta work out. If you're gonna do 2 of them, it would have to be something and the Sunbelt, because the MAC game's at noon. So
yeah, why did they do that?
I don't know, man. Not thinking about us 3 when they're making these schedules. I can tell you that much. I mean, my God, some of these, it's like, what a huge game. Oh, Wednesday night at 7:30. It's like, man, I can't go to that.
With a niche.
Hopefully we get some. I got Sean McDonough that was doing the Stanley Cup. I was real anti him, because when the games were in Edmonton, like when Edmonton would score a goal, he would go nuts. Screaming at the top of his lungs, and the Panthers would score, and he'd be like, and a goal. And I'm like, what the hell, dude? Jeez, you guys hate the Panthers. But he was better when it was in Florida. He got it more excited. He kind of, and I was reading some stuff
up with the home crowd.
He matches the home crowd, which I actually enjoyed a little bit. But their analysts, dude, ESPN, they are so bad. Their NBA stuff is awful. And then there was reporting that they're gonna they're going to pay Stephen A. Smith even more and put him on NFL coverage.
NFL? Yeah, I saw that.
Oh my God, that guy!
Nice.
I mean, he's sort of can sometimes sound like he knows what he's talking about with the NBA, but that guy, I mean,
he cracks me up.
No, I think he's obviously he's fantastic at his craft, which is hot takes and debate. But I don't think he's the guy to have on a halftime when you get 15 minutes to break down the game. Yeah. I don't think you need that guy. That's why the TNT crew is so good for the NBA. And honestly, man, it almost felt like the NHL was trying to do that with PK Subban's on there, and then Messier, the guy played for the damn Oilers. So he's like almost in tears last night when they lose. And it's like, come on, man, like get somebody that's like at least kind of neutral on here.
I thought PK did a good job.
I thought PK was good.
I like the former players that they're talking to. Like get a former NFL player. There's plenty of them out there that could do a better job than Stephen A. Smith.
100%. And then the problem that they do sometimes too is it's like they got, and I'm not trying to just say Messier, but like in the NBA when they're like putting Paul Pierce and Kendrick Perkins, like here's so many guys.
Your Celtic bias is coming
Kevin Garnett
out
on there, and they're putting.
Just hate the Celtics so much.
It's another reason why I hate the Celtics. Nobody, you notice the Florida Panthers didn't get on a plane to Boston to go celebrate their championship like the Celtics. The first thing they did was win a title and got the hell out of that city. That's one thing we know. But anyway,
speaking of former players, real quick, shout out to Condor Max Crosby for donating like $1 million to Eastern Michigan, and then
led with that. That's
naming their field Crosby Field, freaking, and he goes back there, has the huge E.
Yeah, so sick.
I love
so Max Crosby. And I didn't know he met his wife there, and she was what'd she do, track, right, or volleyball or something? She said she was a really good athlete. But what a concept! Huh? What a concept! You go a place gives you an opportunity, right? You succeed, you do well, you stay there, you meet your wife there, you make it to the very highest level of your craft, and you give back, and you still care about the place. Unbelievable concept. I mean, what a phenomenon!
It's wild. Well, before we hit the voicemail, I want to shout out the chat one more time. We had a bunch of people in there. It was awesome. Obviously, Joe Judkins was in there. Texas State of Mind. Ken, who's a South Florida Bull fan. Matt Bryant was in there. Chris G. Stu's Right, obviously, was in there. Josh J23 was in there. So we had a bunch of new people. Connor Fury, Scott B. Had some new names in there. Come over to YouTube if you're watching the show on Twitter or Facebook. They go back and forth. We try and keep up with it. Shout them out when we can. They always got some funny stuff. It's the funniest part of the chat.
And by the way, so we don't know exactly what our schedule is about to be, but we're coming up now on conference preview shows, which are always, I mean, I know every year. Let me tell you something. I'll never forget Tip's Bailey Zappi prediction. That was unbelievable. That was unbelievable. I never heard of the guy. I'm over here trying to read Phil Steele, and he's got too many acronyms and freaking and symbols in his magazine. I don't know what the hell's going on. Tip's like, Bailey Zappi coming over from Houston Baptist. And I'm like, ain't no damn way. Guy sets a record.
He played like 4 games there or something. I watched like 1 or 2.
Kobe played a COVID year.
I actually throws the ball pretty good. Like
played a COVID year when who was the OC that came? He ain't there anymore.
He's at Texas Tech now. I can't think of his name.
Yeah, I can't remember him either. Dang. Anyway,
I can't remember because he left for the Power 5.
But yeah, so scumbag. So these shows are about to get pretty fun. So, and then we'll be coming more and more at you here. The closer we get to the season, the more content we're going to have putting out for y'all.
Hit the voicemails,
make sure
too.
You check those out. Yeah, absolutely. Call the voicemail, 615-900-4286. Leave a voicemail. Leave a hot take. Talk some trash. Make a prediction. Anything. Any update you might have. New something, new restaurant in your town that we got to come check out, new bar, something like that. Call, man.
Yeah, call us out too. I mean, if we say something you disagree with, dude, we're preaching the gospel, but we ain't gospel. So call us out. Let's get to our one voicemail. Our boy Terry Johnson, hadn't heard from him in a while, so it's good to hear him.
Been on a submarine, hadn't he? Something crazy.
So. He's active duty.
Group of 5 guys. This is Terry Johnson T-Money_72 calling you guys. Long time no talk. Haven't talked since end of last year. Haven't been keeping up with the pod as often as possible. Been working a lot. I'm active duty, and but I'm really getting excited about this upcoming football season. I just want to talk about how we had Pat McAfee mention the University of Louisiana. He said Lafayette. Got to drop that Lafayette. Put some respect on the name. Right? Sorry, I had to curse there, Murph. Got to bleep that out. But University of Louisiana, $2 natty lights at Cajun Field. Pat Cajun Field every Saturday. No reason why you can't. We're getting a new revamped stadium that's going to be built in the next couple of years. Our Lady of Your Lord Stadium is going to be amazing, amazing atmosphere. All we got to do is get some fan support behind it. And maybe, hopefully, Pat McAfee mentioning us on the show, hopefully get some more fans to the game, and our administration won't chase them away. Saw our Vegas win total is about 8.5. I'm not going to lie, I think that's a little too much. I see us getting around 8 wins. But we returned the most production in the Sun Belt Conference. And so last time we did that, we won the conference, right? I'm not saying we're going to win the conference this year, but we should be good. We returned, we got 2 returning experienced quarterbacks, our head coach, and a new defensive coordinator that's hopefully better than the last one. But really getting excited about this season, getting excited about that Tulane game, #Tulane, the Green Wave. I hate their asses, uppity, snarky, private school bastards. Hope their team I won't say anything, discouraging because I don't know anything really bad to happen to them, but I just really don't like those assholes. But anyway, that game's going to be awesome at Cajun Field. Hope we can get you guys down to Lafayette to enjoy the game. God bless Group of 5. God bless Group of 5 guys. Go Cajuns.
He did mention it. I must have missed that part when I was bleeping out all of his expletives.
Well, I was going to say, Jeff, you're in mid-season form already. I mean, you caught all of those. Now, when Zachary Branner starts calling, you got to have the quick trigger. I mean, on the bleeps. But yeah, I forgot. Pat McAfee's he's been showing some love to the Group of 5 lately. He's had a couple of nice little things.
I did see where he said Lafayette.
Yeah, they don't.
We gotta
we
gotta stop that.
For. You know what I mean?
It's very true.
It's
Is that him or is it a research analyst at ESPN looking it up and saying, "Oh yeah, Pat, yeah, it's Louisiana Lafayette."
But do you remember his first week on game day when we were in New Orleans and they pulled up the Charlotte 49er logo and he didn't even know who it was. So, but ESPN does that all the time, even when they're on TV. They normally put like UL dot laugh or something on the thing. I swear they do that on purpose, like just to spite.
Yeah.
Just to make it appear as if it's a lower level school. You know what I mean? I don't know. I can't remember. I feel like they tried to, Louisiana's been trying to change it.
I know what you're saying. I think I've seen them do both.
Yeah.
But you're right. Like when you put it like that, it does have the appearance of like a lower school.
Yeah.
Instead of just putting Louisiana.
Exactly.
On there.
Well, they would never put Louisiana ST period for LSU.
Correct.
They'll put LSU every time. Every time. They won't even put Louisiana State on there. They'll put LSU for all the school, for everybody. It's like that.
I feel like I've seen ULL on there.
I feel like I've seen ULL a lot. But anytime they throw a freaking dash in there, that's when it makes it look really bad. And then like for middle, they'll put like mid.10.
That shit is.
Jeez, guys. But there's some schools. See, Louisiana has made an effort to change the narrative, but like middle don't. Middle needs to start going by middle if they want it to change, because otherwise Middle Tennessee.
I can't remember. They were trying to change it.
Or they trying to change it like UMT or something, right?
I can't remember.
I don't
know.
It wasn't University of Middle Tennessee, I think.
Yeah,
I can't remember, but it's like they sent a bunch of like documents to all the media outlets, and like they just kept on using what they use. So typical.
Embarrassing.
Appreciate you, Terry. Appreciate your service, sir. Thank you for what you do.
Ain't no doubt about it. He was in mid-season form on that call too.
Ain't no doubt.
A couple good cuss words. That always with the ending. God bless Group of 5 deal. So $2 natty lights. Well, here's the deal. 8 wins will get you in the Sun Belt Championship game. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, especially with the way the West is, I think Troy is not going to be quite as dominant as they've been. So I think 8 wins puts you in a title game.
8 wins and $2 natty lights.
I do have something to say about that, though, because when I went down there, the beer lines were like, I mean, you were waiting for a quarter.
Really?
And you could only get 2 at a time. So it was like, even if they were, I don't remember what they were. I don't think they were $2 back then. But, yeah, you wait in line for half an hour.
Yeah.
Get 2 beers or
drink those in about 10 minutes.
Yeah, you might as well just get in the back of the line and just stay up there on the little terrace. But so hopefully they get that fixed before they get the new stadium up and running. But you guys got anything else? What do y'all got going for the 4th?
Be in town. Coming back from the Emerald Coast on the 3rd.
So you're going like
tomorrow? Saturday morning.
Wow.
Saturday morning. We'll be there. We're leaving like early, so we'll get down there. We'll have Saturday, kick it at the beach. Coming back Wednesday, be here for the 4th, and then we're going with Scarlett's family to the lake for a couple days after the 4th.
Nice.
So
nice. Yeah, I don't know what we're gonna do. We got like a little, like it's like a state park and resort that has like this huge lake with a beach on it. We probably just go up there for a day or something like that and do fire. The Army base here, it's actually this weekend, does like a massive 4th of July concert firework thing.
Nice.
So we'll probably go out there, take the kids out there. They do all the bounce houses and stuff. So hopefully just get them absolutely taxed and let them fall asleep because the concert don't end until like 11 o'clock. So we're going to see what happens. Tip, what y'all got going? Anything?
Yeah, I mean, for the 4th, we'll be here. You know, we'll be in town, but we're leaving for Atlanta on Saturday, going to the Braves game on Sunday. They play the Pirates, and then coming back Tuesday.
We need to go the next time the Marlins come to town. Y'all need to go over, and I'll meet y'all up there.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that sounds good.
But Marlins, I haven't been paying no attention. They ain't good though. But anyway, that's all we got for y'all tonight. I hope y'all like the show. Make sure you go back if you're one of the first timers jumping on the chat. Go back and look. We've had head coaches, players, athletic directors on. I mean, I can't tell you how many interviews we've done in the last 5-6 months. We've done a bunch. Had a bunch of really good shows. So make sure you go on the YouTube, subscribe to the channel, check out some of those past episodes. Follow us on all the social media platforms at Group of Five Guys. We're on X, aka Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And then you can go to groupof5guys.com. We got some merch up there. We should be getting some new items coming up. I've ordered a couple of things to see what they look like before they're live, I guess we should say. So a lot of good stuff coming, but we really appreciate y'all. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Have a fantastic Independence Day. God bless America. All right, boys.